Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Driven Wyld. Today we are talking about 1099-K, 1099-NEC, and 1099 miscellaneous. As a gig worker, you can receive a few different 1099 forms from the companies you worked with, such as 1099-K, 1099-NEC, and 1099 miscellaneous. Each of them you received for different reasons while being self-employed, and it is important that you understand why. So with that said, I want to go over everything that you must know about each of these forms, how it may or may not apply to you, and everything in between. But before we do that, let's go over a quick disclaimer. The content of this video does not contain, is never intended to be, legal, business, financial, tax, or health advice of any kind. This video is for entertainment purposes only. It is advised that you conduct your own research and consult qualified professionals before applying anything you find online. Also, thank you to GigTax for verifying this information and making this video possible, but more on them later. 1099-K. 1099-K is a report of payments you got for the goods and services you received during the year, such as from a credit, debit, or stored value card, such as a gift card or a payment card, or a payment app or online marketplace, such as a third-party settlement organization or TPSOs. Uber is one of those organizations that considers themselves as such. These organizations are required to fill out Form 1099-K and send copies to the IRS and to you. Who gets a 1099-K? You should get a Form 1099-K for these situations. If you take a payment by credit or bank card for selling goods or providing services, if your customers or clients pay you directly by credit, debit, or gift card, you'll get a Form 1099-K from your payment processor or payment settlement entity, no matter how many payments you got or how much they were for. For most gig workers, unless you're building your own customer base and developing a business outside of gig apps, you're probably not going to get a 1099-K for these reasons. If you used a payment app or online marketplace and received over 20,000 from over 200 transactions. Now, Uber is going to send 1099-Ks to their drivers, but Doordash is only going to send 1099-Ks to merchants, and then to drivers, they're going to send 1099-NECs, but more on that later. A payment or online marketplace is required to send you a Form 1099-K if the payments you received for goods and services total over $20,000 from 200 transactions. However, they can send you a Form 1099-K with lower amount. They'll probably send you one of the other two forms, but we'll get into that in a minute. This includes payments for any goods you sell, including personal items such as clothing or furniture. This is you flipping items online or something like that. Maybe you run a store or something. Services you provide, property you rent. Now, in your mind, you're delivering food, so why wouldn't you get a 1099-K? Because DoorDash's tax reporting still falls under 1099-NEC for us specifically. Outside of that, let's say you run a business outside of that, that would be more your line, but it really depends on how the company treats themselves. Uber treats themselves like a third-party processor, so they're going to send us a 1099-K on top of a 1099-NEC. But that's for a different video. The payments can be made through any payment app, online community marketplace, this is your Facebook Marketplace and stuff like that, craft or maker marketplace, Etsy, auction site, eBay, car sharing or ride hailing platform, Uber, Lyft, ticket exchange or resale site, crowdfunding platform, freelance marketplace, Fiverr. If you accept any payments on different platforms, you could get more than one Form 1099-K. And that's actually pretty normal for a lot of gig workers, is that they get multiple 1099s. Either they have a bunch of different 1099s coming in and out, or they have just a bunch of 1099s coming in and one really big one, because this is their main and everything else is just extra. Reporting threshold. For tax year 2023, the payment apps and online marketplaces are required to file a 1099-K for personal or business accounts that receive over 20,000 in payments from over 200 transactions for goods and services. There are no changes to what counts as income income or how tax is calculated. But the reporting threshold for third-party settlement organizations, which includes payment apps and online marketplaces, was changed to $600 by the American Rescue Plan Act of 2021. The IRS announced a delay in implementing this change for tax year 2023, which covers the tax returns generally filed in early 2024. Although the Form 1099-K reporting threshold is currently $20,000 for the year 2023, companies can still send the form for totals over $600. No matter what the amount though, if you received payments for selling goods or services or renting properties, you must report the income. Just because you didn't get a form doesn't mean you don't have income. When should you not receive a 1099-K? Money you received from friends and family as gift or repayment or a personal expense should not be reported on a Form 1099-K. These payments aren't taxable income. Sharing the cost of a meal or sharing the cost of a ride share. If you decide to carpool, receiving money for birthdays, holiday gifts, or getting repaid by a roommate for a household bill, etc. Be sure to note these kind of payments as non-business in the payment apps when possible. The last thing you want is to get a 1099 for things that you don't need to get, and then you have to pay taxes for silly things like that. 1099-NEC. Form 1099-NEC is a report of non-employee compensation to self-employed individuals who have been paid $600 or more during the course of the year. Form 1099-NEC will be most often issued to independent contractors, freelancers, and side giggers. I don't like that term, but that is one of the terms that they use is side giggers. And if you make $600 or more during the year, but not more than $20,000, you will receive a 1099-NEC. 1099 miscellaneous. Form 1099 miscellaneous is a report of miscellaneous information on certain types of income outside of employment or other means of compensation. Who gets a 1099 miscellaneous? You know, once upon a time, freelancers and gig workers and other self-employed individuals were accustomed to getting these tax forms. But everything changed when the IRS attacked. Now the 1099-NEC replaced many of its uses. However, you can still receive a 1099 miscellaneous for any miscellaneous income you earned. For example, $10 or more in royalties or broker payments in lieu of dividends or tax-exempt interest. Or you receive $600 or more in rent, prizes or awards, other income payments in general, medical and healthcare payments, crop insurance proceeds if you're a farmer of any kind, I assume, cash payments for fish or other aquatic life you purchase from anyone engaged in the trade or the business of catching fish. Generally, the cash paid from a notational principal contract to an individual partnership or an estate, payments to an attorney, any fishing boat proceeds, or $5,000 or more of direct sale of consumer products for resale anywhere other than a permanent retail establishment. That's like online or something like that. Maybe if you're creating and selling products for yourself out of your home or what have you. Hot tip, if you have multiple 1099s that you need to file and you do the same kind of work for them, report it as one business activity on one Schedule C. Saves you time and money on tax prep costs. Joseph Mayo, founder of GigTax. Now there are a few other side notes that I would like to go over on this subject. No form doesn't mean no income. I touched on this earlier, but this is actually important to talk about now too. Wages may not trigger a 1099-NEC or 1099-K because of the income earning thresholds, but you are still responsible for reporting all income whether you received it or not. As a self-employed person, you are required to report your self-employment income if your net earnings from self-employment is $400 or more.
Joe, what about the cash tips that I got from the deliveries that I did? Do I have to report the $13 from that too?
While cash tips for gig workers are generally rare, well, I'll put it to you this way. Officially, you are supposed to report it, but that is your business and that is up to you. However, regardless of whether or not you report it, that's still not a reason to accept no-tip orders in hopes of getting a cash tip after. Reporting mistakes or misfiles. No party is exempt from making a mistake or misfiling and not taking the proper steps to make sure you're paying the proper amount, which can really cost you some serious money if you're not taking those steps. Mistakes can include reports of personal payments from family and friends, like gifts and reimbursements doesn't really belong to you, or duplicates of a 1099-K you already received. And if you do see something like that, here's what you should do. Contact the issue immediately. See filer at the top left corner of the 1099-K to find out the name and the contact information of the issuer, whether that's Doordash for sending you the wrong amount of money or what have you. Ask for a corrected 1099-K that shows a zero amount. Even if it is zero, you need the new 1099-K form. Keep a copy of the original form and all of its correspondence with the issuer for your records, just in case it pops up again. Let's say you get audited, God forbid. And regardless of the situation, don't wait to file your taxes. This is actually really important. One quick note on that though, Uber specifically is known to send you a 1099-K and then send you a yearly summary with all of the fees they charged you. So if you combine the 1099-K and 1099-NEC with the expenses from the yearly summary, you will actually get the amount they deposited to you. If that number is off, then you got a different issue. But in terms of not getting in contact with the issuer, gig companies are kind of notorious for that, especially Doordash, which has earned a serious reputation on ghosting the drivers over and over again. Which is why it's important that you work with a tax professional in making the proper adjustments on your end and making sure that you are reporting your income in the most IRS compliant way, and GigTax is here to help. As we embrace the new year along with celebrations and personal challenges, the approaching tax season is inevitable, and GigTax is here to help. For every hour spent navigating tax season alone, you miss out on potential earnings, precious moments with loved ones, or expose yourself to just financial risks in general. Recognized as the leading tax preparation service for gig workers, GigTax is dedicated to simplifying the process, saving you time, energy, and money. Founded by Joseph Mayo, a seasoned gig worker with over 6,000 deliveries across 6 platforms since 2020, GigTax addresses the overlooked, overcharged, and underserved needs of gig workers in the financial realm. Driven Wyld subscribers can take advantage of an exclusive 60% discount on GigTax's tax prep, and if you act now, the first 3 registrations include complimentary tax preparation. Hold on, I may not have been 100% clear on that. Let me get closer for this. Professional tax prep tailored to your needs. Absolutely free! Secure your spot today with GigTax using the description link below to register and enter Wyld to maximize savings. And get back to what you do best, making the most amount of money in the least amount of time in the safest possible way. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. As always, make sure to hit the like button, subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.